I'm Scott Groves from Consolidated Coaching. This is our, daily check-in, 10-minute reminder every morning at 8:30 a.m. Obviously talking about something related to lead generation, a tip, a tactic, a strategy, a thought jogger. And then of course, the goal is to actually go out and lead generate every single day for somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes. I don't want to dwell on the fact that the market's getting a little bit tighter, a little tougher, rates are a little bit higher, competition is getting a little bit tougher. And, there's something interesting that my business partner, Justin, said, which was, we could all use a little filtering out of the marketplace, and a bunch of loan officers who are only refinance junkies or who are only doing 1 or 2 loans a month or shouldn't be in the business in the first place. It's fine when things get a little bit tougher and we start to filter people out, because that really means more market share left over for those of us that are being coached, that are working on our business, that are doing the right things. And then if we go through a real, tough patch, what we end up seeing is that the winners and the people that can really excel, they come out the other side with more market share. There is something, and this is what Justin pointed out to me, there is something uniquely different about this market versus what we did or what we saw when we headed into 2009 is in 2009, due to government regulation, maybe 2010, there was a switch that was flipped that said, no more fast and sleazy, no more ninja, no income, no asset loans, no more stated income. And so what happened is you had a bunch of those loan officers that were doing 1, 2, 3, 10 loans a month. And literally overnight, they looked at their skill set and said, oh my God, I don't know how to read tax returns. I don't know what a 1040 versus an 1120 is, because their entire career, the entire buildup to the financial crash, they had only been doing stated income loans, option arms, low doc, bank statement qualifiers. So there was actually a critical skill set that was missing that allowed them to stay in the industry. And for those of you that have been around for 10 years, we just saw a mass exodus of loan officers. This time around, it's going to take longer to filter out the people that aren't doing business due to the fact that if you've been doing loans for the last 5 to 10 years, you know how to read tax returns. You might not be great at it. Yesterday on our coaching call, a lot of people were very honest with the fact that they don't even know how to go into Optimal Blue and kind of parse through 5 or 6 different scenarios for low money down at less than 20%. And I appreciate the honesty. We're going to do a training on that. But this time around, it's going to take a little longer to filter out the people that are doing 0, 1, or 2 loans, a loan every other month, but it's coming. So that's why we've got to focus on lead generation and the activities that are going to get us to the other side of the canyon and come out even more successful with more business. Of course, most of this revolves around lead generation. Myself, Arash, Justin, we're going back to the basics. Last night, outside of our normal management duties, we hosted a happy hour for our top referral sources. We're going to be back at it calling today. Behind me, if you were on the coaching call yesterday, you know what this is, but behind me, there's a whiteboard that for 2 weeks, we've been writing down all of the stuff that we want to be executing on daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. And we're going to get together, just our team, on Sunday for 4 or 5 hours and talk about what's the most important thing. How do we calendar the most important activities? What are we spending money on that we can cut out of the budget, and just, going back to basics and spending more time lead generating. So this all revolves around today's topic, which is in the book. It's day 29. Doesn't really matter because we're not necessarily going in sequential order, but it says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Did you start this lead generation journey with a friend, coworker, part of a coaching group? Obviously, that's why you're here. Almost a month in, we're closer to 2 months in, I'm guessing the people that you surround yourself with, they may or may not be committed to this journey or committed to lead generating or committed to growing their business. If you surround yourself with more of these kind of people who are not committed to lead generation, the activities, then you're not going to be successful. Studies have shown, and I believe it was Jim Rome who first pointed out, you are and you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about this for a second. Your 5 closest friends, or the 5 people you spend the most time with, they probably make roughly about the same amount of money as you. They're probably in they're probably in similar physical shape. probably enjoy the same social activities. If your friends are all hard charging party animals that drink a lot and then grab some fast food on the way home from the cigar bar for the happy hour that went too long, if that describes your friends, then you probably look down and you're carrying a few extra pounds because you're living the same type of lifestyle. Meanwhile, if your friends are the type that are, into doing athletic activities, or they're one of these CEO overachievers who does Ironmans, chances are if you are hanging out with these type of people, you're probably in better physical shape than most your age. Same thing, if your closest buddies, the people that you get together with on the weekends, who you socialize with, who you talk with at work, if they're content in their salary job, or they're content making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, funding one loan a month, you're probably going to look at your W-2 at the end of the year and find out that you made about the same amount of money. If you hang out with a bunch of self-centered materialists, you're most likely very worried about the car you drive and the presentation you put out there, regardless of what's going on behind the scene with your bank account. So my point is that it's very hard to sustain the daily motivation in this job. It's hard to do the lead generation. It's hard to get into the office early and stay late and do whatever it takes to be successful in this business if you're surrounding yourself with people that don't feel the same way. I don't begrudge anybody for taking time off with their family, recharging their batteries, and doing the things that they need to do to get their head on straight and come back to hard charging. Life is all about these moments and time periods of extreme commitment and extreme work, followed by times of, rejuvenation and relaxing. And that might be 8 hours of hard charging, super focused, and then a few hours off. That might be 8 days followed by a day off. That might be 8 months followed by 2 weeks off. But if you're the type of person that surrounds yourself with individuals who are constantly taking a week, 2 weeks vacation, out of town, not prospecting, not lead generating, I highly, highly doubt that you're going to look at your paycheck, your bank statement, your pipeline, or the number of people you're helping and really be proud of where you are if you're hanging out with people that are underachieving. So a couple ideas. I'm just thinking back to a previous company when I realized that I needed to up my game. I started a phone call, which is the purpose of this phone call, with 10 other top producers in the company. So we could do like a 30-minute call once a week, exchange ideas. It wasn't fun it was fun being the top producer there, but it wasn't fun being the top producer at that company and not having anybody else in our office to bounce ideas off of. So, I started calls with other top producers. That year that I finished the company number one, probably spent about $15,000 to be part of various mastermind groups where I could then in turn learn from other people that were the top of their game, either in mortgage or in other industries. And I just forced myself to seek out other people who were playing at a higher level. And I think that's what a lot of you have done by being on this daily call, by being on this Facebook group, by being in the coaching program. And, this isn't just about me selling tickets to the live event in San Diego, but I want to close with this idea that if you're not forcing yourself to come to live events like the one that we're going to host in San Diego, if you're not surrounding yourself by other top producers, other people that are a step or 2 steps or 20 steps ahead of you, then you're stunting your growth. If you're not getting outside of your comfort zone and the only people you hang out with are people that do 2 loans a month and you only do 2 loans a month, guess what? All of you are going to be content doing 2 loans a month. A mental mind shift I had is when I was on that call with other top producers and we were on the call based on volume. And I had this buddy of mine, still a friend named Nathan Tahanchuk, who just would call me out every call. And he would say, Scott, you're a piece of shit. I don't care how much your volume is. Like, you're not doing enough units. I don't care if you did 8 units for, $7 million. I did 24 units for $5 million. I'm actually succeeding at a higher level because I'm closing more units. And I appreciated that. I could call me, would still bust my balls today about units over volume. But I think these are the things we need to be thinking about, right? By me bouncing ideas off of Nathan Tahanchuk of like, okay, how are you building a team that can do 24 units a month? How are you prospecting in a similarly competitive market as we're here in Southern California to be able to close 20, 22, 24 units a month? These are the things that we need to be thinking about. And so at the live event in San Diego, we've got one of the #1 producers from Movement Mortgage who's on track to do 200 units. We've got one of the #1 producers from Fairway who's on track to do 200 units. We've got one of the #1 producers from Cross Country who's on track to do 200 units. We've got one of the top 5 producers from New American Funding on track to do 150 units. They're all going to be on a panel in addition to all the other training and guest coaches we have lined up at the live event in San Diego, because selfishly, even if none of the rest of you show up, I want to surround myself with other producers who are doing that kind of volume, because I want to learn from them. I want to up my game. I want to be embarrassed when Justin and I walk in there and say, oh yeah, we only closed 11 units this month or 12 units this month. I want to be embarrassed and shamed by these guys that are closing 15, 20, 25, 30 units a month, and figure out what they're doing and learn from them. And similarly for you, if you're on this call and you're doing 0, 1, or 2 units a month, you're going to be around other people at that San Diego event and in this coaching program who are doing 4 or 5 or 6 units a month. So I implore you, whether it's our live event, something you set up, something you seek out within your company, get around people that are doing better than you. If you want to be healthier, find people that are healthier than you. If you want to be better with your money, join a group that focuses on financial accountability, or surround yourself with people that make more money than you, save more money than you, or better than you. And, it's like Bud said, Mom always told us, you are the company that we keep. It's true. So anyway, this is Scott Groves, Consolidated Coaching. I hope I drilled it home that you need to surround yourself with other people that are hard charging, and whatever that means to you, call somebody right now if you're having a hard time sticking to your lead generation activity. Call somebody right now, get them on the phone, have them hold you accountable, find somebody that's doing more business than you, take them out to lunch, take them out to coffee, find out what they're doing, and get on it today. Do your Friday follow-ups. Call all the people that are involved in your transaction and find out what's going on with them. Find out, how you can get a referral from them, give them an update on what is going on with the transaction that they're a party to. And there's no reason to not do at least 30 to 60 minutes of lead generation today. Scott Groves, Consolidated Coaching. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.